Today is July 29th, 2021. It's been a long time since I've done any adventures in oil trading. I was kind of doing a regroup and needed to figure out exactly what my next steps were, but I also realized that even though I'm not doing very well, the accountability of these trade journals is really good. So I'm going to set the intention and to come and try to make that happen again. I like the live trade journals that I've been doing, but today I'm going to do a recap. I did a live session today with my group, and it was really helpful, even though I had a bad day. Just really been doing poorly. I'm down around 25% win rate for the month of July, and especially the last week or 5 trading days, just about around 10%. So it's just really abysmal. I don't know how I could really trade any worse, but I don't know. I feel like I have a good read, as crazy as that sounds, with a win rate so bad and such poor performance, but I still feel like I'm close to having this figured out and being able to turn that corner. So anyway, it was I only had 4 trades today, 3 losses, 1 break even, and a missed fill on my win, which was typically how it goes, because the wins don't necessarily come back. So minus 30 on the day. First trade was 635 short, and that's what I'm going to go over, do a post-mortem and a recap on the trades, and that's this guy right here. So my expectation was that in the morning we had kind of broken above this whole range here, and then we pushed up in the overnight session and had come back down. So my expectation was to test this lower side of liquidity, and definitely this was a fairly weak low that at the end of the session never ended up being revisited. So what was the issue with this trade that I don't like? Well, I basically took this off of this minor high tick increase in volume, so that's good from a kind of a trigger standpoint, and I entered here at about 64, and then we came down, low ticked here. My de-risk here was below this bar low here. However, what isn't really good about this trade is that there's no protection above here. There's no structure. So to see in hindsight excuse me, that this came all the way back up to this structure here is not surprising. So to take a short back up into this area makes more sense than it did where I took it. So this was pre-market though. So what happened is that we held this structure, and then this is actually more so probably, and I think Kelly actually did take this for a win on a long trade. So we low ticked this low, then we have this structure for protection below, and then to take that up into kind of this 77 area, or even into this supply here at 83. So that was my first loss, and that was a minus 6. So at the open we had this large spike down below this liquidity here, and then rallied hard up. My next try, at this point I'm definitely context long, so I was trying to find a long position. Next one was at 908, long at 08. And so that didn't happen till way over here in this structure area. I wasn't able to get in any of this. I did try to get in here at 72 right here on a pullback, and we can see where that happened. Scroll back here, and that was off that opening drive off the open. So the trade here was to come back and pull back to this let me check the time here again. Actually, I think it was, so I tried to get long here. So it wasn't this opening drive, it was actually after this failure here. So 72 was my entry that I entered on the dome at 8:10 approximately. So that was way over here. So we had this failure here, this low tick failure, came up, and this was my trigger, and then I was trying to get in here, 72 with a stop down below here, and I just didn't get it. Kelly entered at 74 and took it all the way up to the 99, I believe. So because of 2 tick miss, I didn't get the win, the real nice win of the day. And then 908 is almost an hour later after we put in the structure higher, and that's in here. 908 on this failure, kind of this failure of this range with my expectation that we're going to take out this high and then come up to test this area here to the left and possibly into the overnight high. That was the trade. This was not the best failure because we didn't really test down and take out or test the lower side of this range. So that ended up being a 12 tick loss, so not very good. Then 918, I tried again, and that was after this kind of this fake out push down here on definitely increased volume. So this had a lot of things going for it, and I got a fairly good price. I think I was in at 02, which we talked about this in the live session as well, is that was probably a little bit aggressive, because if price I wouldn't have been surprised, held the lower side of this and come back down. I had some nice equity in this trade all the way up into this 16 area, so 14 ticks of equity before it high ticked, and then we slammed back down, took me out. At this point, we had this demand push and then failure lower, and so at this point I thought that that was looking good to take out these lows here and come down, and so I immediately got short here after my long and took the other side at 930.05. Not a very good price either, and then that came all the way back up and took me out pretty quickly. So I don't think that was a bad try either, but being that we had just taken this out and we had not quite taken out this overnight high, I probably could have passed on that one. So those were my only trades for the day. Four trades, no wins because I missed. My only win is what I missed would have been a nice 25 tick win, and even so, with my losses, that would have still put me in negative territory for the day. But that's how it's been for me lately. So really trying to get a handle on what it is that I need to be passing on, and what are the trades that are creating such a terrible win rate. And I think it definitely can be categorized as this is definitely not good. There's no structure to support this. Trading into structure here. You could say this has been tested here, but we also have untested demand. So being that I'm trading here, even though there is this high tick here, I'm trading directly into untested demand. So yes, we do have a weak low. So the context supported it, I felt, but it's just not a very good trade. This should have definitely been a pass if not taken after this low tick here, leaning on this structure, low volume node here, and a long trade makes more sense here, at least into this supply. So still a lot of work to do, but I'm going to get back on these trade journals for sure, and at least have that accountability mechanism, and it seemed to work better in previous months. So that's it for now.